Okay. Hi everybody, I'm Salyards, and I'm here to talk to you guys about what you might not see as a pretty obvious paradigm shift, but I'm going to explain to you why it is. I'm going to talk about female authors, authoresses as they are, taking over the literary world. First, I want you guys to start by thinking about some of the most famous authoresses that you know in our day. Maybe some of these women come to mind. We have Suzanne Collins, whose Hunger Games series has become so worldwide that the second movie installment actually comes out this month. Everyone knows J.K. Rowling. Harry Potter has become such a big culture thing in our society that it's inspired movies, amusement parks, fan fiction. And we also have Jodi Picoult, whose crime novels, The Pact and My Sister's Keeper, have become huge. These women have achieved such great success in the literary world. But why is that? It wasn't always that way, and that's what I'm going to talk about. But these women have achieved such great acclaim for one reason. That's accessibility. Here we have a chart that shows literacy rates in all around the world. The darkest blue regions are countries that have the highest literacy rates, and downward until the dark red. Literacy worldwide is at an all-time high right now. And what that means for these women and their work is that they're getting read by more people, more and more every day. Also, here we have a chart of overall book sales for 2012, over a quarter of which were made up of e-book sales. And I'm going to talk more about that later. But what all these charts mean is that women are getting recognized more and more because more people are able to read their books in whole new facets and whole new ways. But it wasn't always that way. We're going to take it back to the start before we get into the details here. The 19th century, sexism, oppression, these are things that women faced, and it made it almost impossible for them to gain any kind of notoriety in the writing world. Here we have the Bronte sisters, better known as Ellis Kerr and Acton Bell, Marianne Evans, better known as George Eliot, and Louisa May Alcott, better known as A.M. Bernard. If these names sound familiar to you now, that's one thing, but back in their day, they would have only been known under their male pseudonyms because they weren't allowed to get published under their female names. Moving forward a little bit, authoresses like Harper Lee and Maya Angelou found great success in famed works like I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings and To Kill a Mockingbird. By now, virtually everyone, has known about and read these works, but at the time, they still weren't achieving the same success level as their male counterparts. Why? They weren't reaching the same audience levels. Their books were pushed to the back of shelves. They weren't talked about. They didn't get book tours. They didn't get anything like the men in their field got. So they really had to work a lot harder to get even half the success that men got. But then there came a change, and that's in e-reading. In 1992, we had the Data Discman, the first known kind of e-book. It was for users could have books on CD, and they would put the CD in the bottom of it, and you can listen to them. Then we had in 1998 the Rocket e-book, followed closely in 2007 by the Amazon Kindle, which was when e-books and e-reading and reading in general really exploded. The Kindle sold out in 5 hours. And in July 2010, Kindle books outsold physical books for the first time ever, selling at a ratio of 140 ebooks to 100 physical books. That's a pretty big jump. In 2010 came Apple's iPad and Barnes & Noble's Nook. Devices like these made it so much easier for women to get read and published. Their works became worldwide. Everyone was reading more, everyone was reading wherever, however they wanted to. At work, at school, on vacation, no matter what you wanted, how you wanted it, it was there. Accessibility was huge. Without this accessibility, women would not have been able to have their books read by such a larger audience. People are even buying these devices for their children now. It's reached multi-generational, it's multi-gender, it's multicultural. These things are getting read by everyone all the time, and that just means more success for women. Here we have some charts that show even further the success of e-reading and e-books. The top chart, you can see e-reading spiked in January of 2012, selling $132 million worth of e-books. Today, over half of the books sold electronically are books written by women. That's a lot of female authors' books being read worldwide. The bottom image shows the spike in Kindle sales post-2009 when it really went big. And the other chart is the chart I already showed you that shows over a quarter of total book sales come from e-reading. All of this just means that women are gaining huge amounts of notoriety based on these kinds of devices. Without them, we would still be stuck in paperback form not getting the same recognition. Here we have a list of the top 10 Kindle books sold thus far in 2013. As you can see, half of them are written by women. Even A Cuckoo's Calling, which is claimed to be written by Robert Galbraith, is actually written by our own J.K. Rowling. The success of the book, it's a little known fact, was the book was very unsuccessful until it came out that she was the one that wrote it. The book spiked sales over 70% once it came out that she was the one that wrote it. So all this means that with Kindle sales and sales of ebooks in general, women are getting notoriety that they never would have had before. Okay. So what all this means is, long story short, without the success of e-reading and devices like the Kindle, the Nook, the iPad, women would still be pigeonholed into stereotypical book sales. But because people have come and invented these e-reading technologies, women have come so far and are now on a similar playing field as the men in their field.